Today I'm with Mr. Adams, principal of the Tanner Building, on our first edition of Between Two Vines. We've got some great questions for you, Mr. Adams. We want to get to know you a little bit better. So thank you for agreeing to be here with me today on this first edition of Between Two Vines.
All right.
So I want to know, what motivated you to become an administrator here in Vineland?
So I got my start in Vineland student teaching in the 2011-2012 school year, and I had some really phenomenal administrators that gave me harsh criticism, but it was constructive criticism that helped me grow as an educator. So Miss Curcio and Miss Painter, who is still with us in Vineland today, were my first two administrators, and then that was bookended by Miss Morano and Miss Mercado at the Palo Alto Elementary School. And seeing them work, seeing them operate, seeing them give all of themselves to the students, and seeing how much of an impact they had outside of the 20 students that I had kind of made me want to drive myself further and see what kind of impact I could have for the greater student body in Vineland.
So these administrators saw some potential in you, and they mentored you, and they gave you maybe that energy to take the next step?
They absolutely did. Starting with my first year, like I said, it was harsh criticism, but it was criticism that I took and I ran with and didn't really let grass grow under my feet within that position. And then when I finally did get into my internship through Wilmington University, Miss Morano and Miss Mercado took me under their wing, and to them I owe a ton of gratitude too for showing me kind of the ropes as a teacher, becoming an administrator.
And this is when you served as a teacher at the Palo Alto School?
Yeah, so I taught at the Palo Alto from 2012 all the way through 2019, prior to starting here at 2020.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so happy those administrators, those mentors got to you early and gave you that criticism to get you moving.
Yeah, and it was great, and that's what I try to reciprocate now in my role, giving that constructive feedback, but then being there as a support system for teachers, both tenured and non-tenured.
Excellent. So as principal of the Tanner Building, where all of our 9 and 10th grade students go to, can you describe the unique culture of that building?
So it is an absolute melting pot. If you go through Vineland High School as a whole, specifically the Tanner Building, when you're coming from 4 different middle schools throughout Vineland, and you come out of there with a great experience and you see the world as the world is, right? We have all walks, all races, all creeds, all religions right in our building, and they all work together. So if you can get through your high school career, which is the toughest time in a child's life up to this point, you're really set for the real world. Our school is reflective of what our world looks like.
Wow. So kids are coming from 4 different schools, 4 different communities, 4 different cultures, and they come here together, and you've got to do a lot of work to get them just to see themselves as a positive member of that building.
Yeah, so their collaboration starts day one. You know, they're going to work with kids they've never met before. They're going to work with kids that they've known forever, and that's exactly what life is. As you ascend through, your career, or as you ascend through whatever path you go on after graduation, you're going to have your group of people that you are comfortable with, but you're also going to be put in situations where different walks of life come in, and we prepare you for that role in life.
That's right. So one of the biggest challenges that we have is creating a positive and just productive climate. What are you doing at the Tanner Building with your staff to promote this positive culture in your setting?
So Miss Alvarez, the principal of the South Building, and I met, and we're going to start a student spotlight. So I just met with a young lady yesterday. She immigrated to this country. She speaks 4 different languages, so she's going to be probably my first student spotlight, just to show Vineland what our students have to offer and how brilliant they are. I mean, knowing 4 languages at 15 and taking an additional language this year to now know 5 languages is something that's impressive, and it shouldn't just be held to my building or our campus. We need to show that to the community.
That's great. And I love that, the 910 building, Tanner Building, but one campus, Vineland High School, and then spotlighting students who have exceptional backgrounds and have probably faced adversity in ways that you and I can't relate to, but we can learn from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about some of the, you've been there for a couple months. Talk to us about some early academic achievements or milestones so far that you've experienced at the Tanner Building.
So we just completed our annual school plan, our ASP goal for the state of New Jersey, and it was quite a bear. It's something that I was kind of sheltered from as an assistant principal, but when Miss Alvarez and I jumped in with both feet, we already met 2 of our 4 goals. So our college and career readiness goal, our counselors have exceeded that goal by 10% already set by the state of New Jersey. And then our PBSIS and our Renaissance program, our incentive-based program that notices students for all the good that they're doing for their work, for their attendance, for their grades, for their discipline, exceeded our threshold by an additional 10% as well. So those 2 goals, seeing the state looking at me and kind of judging us as a collective school district, being able to meet those goals right away was very important.
Well, that's encouraging to hear that you're already hitting some of those goals in your annual school plan, and we're looking forward to continuing that progress throughout the school year. So keep us in the loop about how you're doing.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So another question for you. How do you encourage students to take an active role in shaping the school's overall culture and climate?
So we have our normal meetings with our SGA, with our class advisors, on the staff level, but Ms. Alvarez and I about 3 weeks ago had a meeting with our SGA student body, with our class advisors from the student level, just to get some valuable feedback from them, because students, while they're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, they have adult ideas, and they really have great ideas that we don't think of from their perspective, because while I'm not that much older than them, I am older than them. So just hearing their feedback, and then the important piece is acting on their feedback. So one of their things that they wanted to do was paint their parking stalls, right? And we found that out in this meeting with them, and that's kind of an organic way of them just taking a little bit of responsibility for their parking stalls. And that's a great idea. It's something easy, it's something simple, it's something that's very inexpensive, but it's something that gives them pride in VHS. And I think that's what we need to have more of. Our students gave us ideas, so we need to reciprocate those ideas and put them into a plan of action.
One thing that the students have consistently spoken of is that Vineland High School is one campus, but there are 2 distinct buildings and building cultures. So any thoughts on how to continue to unify, both campuses into one collective vision?
So we have 60 clubs, activities, sports programs that happen after school, and I know Ms. Alvarez and I try to get to at least one of them throughout the marking period, throughout the month. If we can't make it, we try to get one of our assistant principal staff to get there, just to show that we care about our kids. So for example, last week, the volleyball club was going. I stopped into the volleyball club and I sat in on the front line because I wanted to spike. I like that PowerPoint position. But then I talk to the kids about what is the proper formation, and they look at me in a different light. They don't look at me as the guy that is disciplining kids or checking lesson plans or doing walkthroughs. They look at me as Mr. Adams, guy that I played volleyball with and that I can have fun with. So just embedding yourself within those programs, going to our football games, supporting our JROTC, going to soccer games when they're playing ranked opponents in the state, and just being a visible and active participant in their education allows them to see you in a more humanistic sight as opposed to you're an administrator.
That's right. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Hopefully, when you were on the line, you didn't. You made a nice spike and didn't embarrass yourself in front of the kids.
I did embarrass myself. The spike went straight into the net. Everybody made fun of me, but I'm a human, and I can't jump that high anymore these days. So
when you make yourself vulnerable, the kids appreciate that.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful opportunity to be there. So how are you thinking about celebrating students and their achievements? Any new ideas or traditions that have been in place for the last few years on celebrating student achievement?
So one of the things that we did is we just met with our RAFT program, our Reese's Aligned for Teens, and we want to spread positive messages throughout the building. So they have a cricket machine, and they're going to start creating messages for students of what they have accomplished, what they're doing, what they want to do in the future, and we're going to start putting it around the school. So their ideas are now our ideas. Okay. One of the things that I would like to do, and it's a stolen idea, but that's what education is, it's just repeating ideas that work, is spotlighting students that are accepted to not only colleges and universities, but accepted into the military, accepted into a trade school, accepted into the workforce, accepted into a program that's going to create an apprenticeship for them. So it's just recognizing students visually in our hallways on a bulletin board, verbally on an announcement, and then using the social media platforms to showcase all of our students' talents, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom and within their future as well.
I love that. Can't wait to see that in action. I know it's a big deal when you get to celebrate kids for their academic achievements or maybe their athletic achievements or whatever their next steps are in their life. When we can celebrate that and connect to the community, it's awesome. It's a win for everyone. Thinking about the community, how can we get parents and the community more involved in a positive fashion with our schools?
So that's what it comes down to, involvement. Your best ability is availability. We had a wonderful parent university night where we had over, I think, 70 universities or job training programs, military programs, recruitment programs come out here, and we had a really great turnout. We had a Speak Up event that was student run. That was, it should be a model that the county and the state follows to see what students are doing. If the students are putting in the work, we want their parents, we want our community members to support them. When we had our ROTC program, we want the community to come out to our parade to support the ROTC students marching down Landis Ave in that cold, cold weather.
That's right.
When we have events, when we have tennis matches, we want our parents to come out, join us. And then our doors are always open. My door is always open. Ms. Alvarez's door is always open. We want to keep that open line of communication and be as transparent as possible that we can with our parents so they feel comfortable coming to us with not only concerns but celebrations and letting us kind of in their lives as we let them in our schools.
Right. Well, this is an incredibly exciting time for the Tanner Building. I want to thank you for the opportunity to meet with you today and to hear a little bit more about what you're thinking about for your students along with your team, with Mr. Hall, Mr. Headley, and Ms. Craig. You know, a dynamic 9-10 Tanner Building leadership team. We're looking for amazing things to come out of you. So again, thank you so much for your time today, and it's been a pleasure on this first edition of Between Two Vines.
All right, thank you.